Climate change and the accompanying extreme weather events pose much health risk to people who are living in Hong Kong.
Weather in Hong Kong was quite distorted recently. Health impact of these extreme weather events can be classified into 5 stages, including behavioral change, self-medication or self-care, medical help seeking, hospital admission, and death.
The Chinese University of Hong Kong utilized data from the Hong Kong Observatory, Hospital Authority, Environmental Protection Department, Center for Health Protection, and Census and Statistics Department. We realized that hospital admission in Hong Kong is closely linked to extreme weather. During hot season, when the daily mean temperature exceeds the threshold of 29 degrees Celsius, hospital admissions will be increased by 4.5% for every 1 degree Celsius temperature rise. For every 1 degree Celsius temperature drop, hospital admissions will be increased by 1.4%.
Our research discovered that some diseases were associated with extreme weather events. These include asthma, hand, foot and mouth disease, stroke, acute myocardial infarction and heart failure. Patients must pay extra attention.
Under hot seasons with a temperature ranging from 27 to 30 degrees Celsius, especially on days with high relative humidity and ozone level, asthma admissions increased along with a temperature rise and peaked at 30 degrees Celsius. Change in asthma admissions was also observed in cold seasons. With temperature drop, admissions increased. On cold days with a low relative humidity, significant rise in asthma admissions was observed.
Extreme temperature events have a more profound impact on adult asthma patients.
As for hand, foot, and mouth disease, which is commonly found amongst children, its emissions are affected by temperature changes. At a daily mean temperature range from 8 to 20 degrees Celsius or above 25 degrees Celsius, a rising trend along with increasing temperature was observed for hand, foot, and mouth disease emissions. Especially on days with relative humidity higher than 80%, admissions increased drastically.
Stroke is mainly divided into 2 types. Hemorrhagic stroke is caused by the bursting of a blood vessel inside the brain, which cuts down the flow of blood. Within the daily mean temperature range of 8.2 degrees Celsius to 31.8 degrees Celsius, with temperature drop, emissions due to hemorrhagic stroke increased.
As the average 5-day mean temperature dropped 1 degree Celsius, hemorrhagic stroke emission rate increased by 2.7%. The elderly was found to be a more vulnerable group.
Another type of stroke is ischemic stroke, which is caused by blood clots formed inside the vessels of the brain.
If the mean temperature of a consecutive 14 days was below 22 degrees Celsius, with a 1 degree Celsius drop, emission rate due to ischemic stroke increased by 1.6%.
For patients with acute myocardial infarction, much attention is warranted when cold seasons are around. If the daily mean temperature of a 14-day period drops below 24 degrees Celsius, with every 1 degree drop, acute myocardial infarction admissions increased by 3.7%. Apart from temperature, the level of air pollutants as well affected patients with acute myocardial infarction. With the level of nitrogen dioxide increasing, more admission due to acute myocardial infection was expected. Power plant, vehicle and marine emissions are the main sources of nitrogen dioxide.
Comparing days with higher and lower temperature, it was observed that heart failure admission rate on days with lower temperature are 2.63 times of that on days with higher temperature. The elderly are found to have a higher risk.
Asthma, hand, foot and mouth disease, stroke, acute myocardial infarction and heart failure are all related to extreme temperature events. I should pay more attention on these from now on. Apart from medical personnel, other public service units should provide timely and adequate information for high-risk groups in the community.